I'd like to call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for the town of Sevastopol on Monday, June 21st at 7 p.m. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, how about we start off with a roll call to establish a quorum?
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Chairman Dim Wolfel.
Here.
Supervisor Linda Wade.
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Derek Daniel.
Here. Here, all right. If we take a moment and introduce our audience to one another, we'd appreciate it. How about Peter, you start?
Pete Hurt.
Chuck Stager.
Christine Brower.
John Murray.
Jim Chapman.
Mike Williams.
Penny Williams.
Sarah Bradley.
And Jeff Bradley.
Okay, well, thank you. Public participation. So does anyone here have anything they'd like to speak deeply about other than the pending Chuck Stager rezone?
Hand in the back.
Excuse me, that was my phone. In the back. Go
Hi there.
ahead.
I'm John Murray. Do you want me to come up front so you?
You can speak up, you're fine there.
I have a strong enough voice, my wife says. So, I'm John Murray. I'm with the Door County Century Ride.
Oh, yes.
And I might look familiar to some of you and not so familiar because the last time I was here was winter of 2019. So 2019 was the last time that we actually had an opportunity to put on a bike ride up here due to COVID last year. So things are shaping up a little bit, and I think we have a chance to pull it off. And so that's what I'm here for today, is just not really. I've put together a temporary road closure permit for the township, but it's really not for that. It's more or less just permission to use and conduct the bicycle ride on town roadways, because it really isn't anything like that. The event's been around for, folks probably know, it's been around for a long time. This would be the 42nd running event. So it's been since 1979, skipped a year last year. And rider-wise, we're getting riders right now from 42 out of 50 states. So back in the day, it was kind of a local event. It's become quite a big thing as far as a national caliber bike ride. And it's not a bike race, it's a bike ride. So folks can leave at their leisure. We don't have waves or organized groups of riders that go out. Obviously for COVID, that's not a good idea either. But we give a 4-hour window for folks to come and go. So that spreads things out throughout the county. And if we were to let them all go at the same time, it would be like a stampede and we'd shut down every road in Door County. So things are looking good as far as interest in the ride, but that's what I'm here for today, just to get your feedback on that. And then if there's anything from the township that you'd like me to consider or anything I can do differently. The roadways that we've used, the routes have pretty much been established over the last 5 or 6 years. So sometimes there's always a little hidden gem in there. There's always a chip seal project or something that I'm unaware of. I do deal with the county highway department, but sometimes I miss something here or there. So anything that you have on your end, that'd be great as well. Or anything you want me to clarify, I'd be happy to do that.
Well, now that we know the roads, we'll make sure we get them chip sealed just before.
Figure that.
Anyone from the board have any questions? Hearing none. I only have one comment, which is a continual comment, which is please encourage them to try and attempt to ride maybe no more than 2 across, because that does create a problem on some of our roads, especially Glidden and a couple other places where they have a tendency to just fill the roadway. But other than that, no problem. I assume you'll be in touch, already have been with the sheriff?
Yep.
And first responders as usual?
Yep, and EMS, the county EMS department also is aware of it, and Sturgeon Bay Police and Fire as well. We also, just to let you know something about some of the conduct that happens. The one thing that we do is we actually, back in the day, we didn't really have a means to scout that out and take care of it, but now we actually have a group of volunteers that go out and basically they're kind of like, I don't know what you'd call them, kind of course marshals, if you will. Just trying to give people friendly reminders to stay, like you said, 2 abreast, which is really the state law. Sometimes they just get sloppy and they just get carried away with pointing at things and, talking to their neighbors. So we do have a group of people that are actually out there all day long, kind of trying to just monitor the conduct of the riders too, so we do our best. It's kind of like herding cats,
I have 2 of them. Okay, well, no problem with us. Hope you have a safe event, and it is a success for the community.
Thank you.
All right. Good enough. All right. With that, how about a motion to adopt the agenda? I assume it was properly noticed.
The agenda has been properly noticed.
I'll move to adopt the agenda as noticed.
Motion by Linda, second by?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Jeannie to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Approval of the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting from May 17th. Also, the initial border review from May 17th. And the special Board of Supervisors meeting on June 3rd, which I believe was on roads. So, any comments, thoughts, questions, changes? If not, a motion to approve those would be appropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting of May 17th, 2021, the 2021 initial board review minutes of May 17th, 2021, and the special Board of Supervisors meeting June 3rd, 2021.
All right, motion by Mark, second by?
Second.
Second by Derek. I know, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you. All right, this is going just wonderful. All right, next item is short-term rental ordinance. You have in your packet what I guess I would call the final version of this. It has to be reviewed one last time by our attorney, at which time we will bring it back for action at the July meeting. I did not do that this month because we had a Plan Commission meeting last week, not knowing how many changes there were, and the town attorney was also hard pressed for time, so we just delayed it for 1 month. She is in the process of also doing other research for us on our behalf, and Linda has taken the step to contact Liberty Grove, who has a parallel effort to ours to ensure that our ordinance and their ordinance do not have something that would present a problem for either of us. Do you have any comments on that, Linda, that you'd like to add?
Not really. The only tweak to our most current draft was deletion of, just to clarify a little bit on the POUTS, the private on-site wastewater treatment system. And yes, one of our Plan Commission members did do a nice little spreadsheet comparing the various Door County municipalities and where they sit with short-term rentals and their ordinances.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have a question with respect to what you have in front of you?
It was the consensus of the Plan Commission that this would be the final draft pending any additional comments or recommendations from our attorney.
Okay. I would ask that between now and our next meeting that you copy in the board with respect to any other documents that would be appropriate, Q&A or FAQs, any other ancillary documents, so that they have a chance to look at those and understand, what's involved in the process, what the forms look like. So if anybody's got any feedback on those, we can at least attempt to correct it or be aware of it before we take some action.
Okay, so that would be the application form itself,
Yep.
It's 2 pages. The second page indicates all of the documents that a short-term rental owner needs to submit with their application. Frequently asked questions. Hopefully that would answer some of the questions from owners and kind of defer from Amy a little bit. References as to where to find information, where to find your DAC cap permit, where to find your POUTS system permit. Anything that we can do to help speed the process along and avoid questions.
And a draft resolution that you have for.
The
cost.
resolution on fees, correct?
Okay.
Mhm.
So any other things
All right,
that you think
so-
appropriate, if we could get those out in time for the board to review, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay. Anything from anyone else? Very limited discussion, I take it. Okay. With that, we'll talk about this in greater detail. Oh, I do have one other thing I made a note of. Do you anticipate that we would need to do any notification to short-term rental owners? Formal notification beyond just the publishing of the ordinance?
Well, we're hoping that the newsletter will be out by the end of July or the first part of August. And I do have a draft article for that. And I think we have about 72 properties that we could certainly send a
I mean, I know we've had many people
notice.
appear, but I'm just thinking of maybe something to consider. I leave it to you.
Yeah, it'd be easy enough to find the owners and their mailing address in
Absolutely.
conjunction with the Tourism Zone Commission, so
Okay.
we could certainly do that.
Maybe give it some consideration and I'll leave it in your trusting hands.
Would that be after action of the board then in
Yes.
July?
Yeah. Just in the event that if we do something, we don't have people stepping forward
Yep.
with, I just didn't know.
Yep, so no one will be surprised.
Okay, which you mentioned the newsletter. I don't know how you segued into that so nicely, but since you did.
Yes, the newsletter. Amy, please chime in if I miss anything. So we are working on our newsletter. I would say we have 85% of the articles.
I would think so, yes.
Yeah, we're
We
missing
still need
just- yep.
Jeannie's. Did Derek get you one?
No,
Not-
and I think Mark.
Mark, yeah.
Mine is
And
floating around.
those
and-
3 happen to be here, so they're well aware that we need your article soon. I do have a call in to Sunshine House. They are the ones that do the folding and the mail. We use their bulk mailing permit, so they're nice enough to do that for us. So I do have a call in to Carrie there to see if the price has changed anything, significantly since our last one in 2019. I think that's about it. Otherwise, I think we will have all the photos we need, and so we'll try to get a draft together. I guess I would ask Laddie if he intends to put that together for us, or if I should lay it out, or,
Well, I sent you all the data. Do you want me to format it as well, or what do you want? I mean, I sent you the data for several parts of the.
yep, I have that. So your article on the YouTube and the cable channel and all that. The layout itself, though, do you want me to do that? Or do you want to work together on that?
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I know mine is 3/4 done. I just haven't come up with the proper title, but I will resolve that in the next few days for you.
Dan, are you doing anything on the pickleball?
I don't know, the bid opening for the tennis court pickleball is Friday. So I guess I'll wait and see what happens.
Okay.
But
I wrote some notes.
if you want to just put something as a cursory, that'd be fine.
Okay.
And I can put something in based on the feedback from the bid or bids.
I'm not sure on publication yet. We had an original deadline of July 1st, which is next Wednesday.
You're a little
I don't know, we'll
behind.
have to see. Laddie and Amy and I can get together after the meeting and see.
I think the goal, I mean, if we can get it out in July, the goal has been to try and get it out while we have seasonal residents
Right.
here. So I think that's the more important facet. If it slips a week or two, I think they'll survive. So, Okay, moving on to new business. The item tonight on the agenda is Chuck Steger's request to rezone 5.86 acres from estate to mixed-use commercial to establish a commercial storage facility just north of wonderful downtown Valmy on Highway 57. And I will give Linda the lead here.
Well, I know we have some neighbors here. You all had a chance to look at the Plan Commission draft minutes that were in your packet. I'll just summarize. Mr. Stager had explained his intentions to develop a commercial storage building just north of Valmy on Highway 57. So we did have some public input at our meeting on June 15th. I can tell you that as a result, the Plan Commission was unanimous in its recommendation to the town board that we did not support Mr. Stager's request for a zoning change from estate to mixed commercial. Just briefly, some of the reasons for that decision were traffic and safety concerns, and based on the information that we had on June 15th, I believe Mr. Stager was unsure yet or had not heard from the DOT on a driveway on Highway 57. So there was lack of information regarding the placement of the driveway. We did not feel that a zoning change would be compatible with the current surrounding use, which is mostly residential and agricultural. Maintaining the current zoning would be consistent and create less conflict with the current land use. There was also some concerns that if a zoning change were permitted, that we would be unsure as to other uses that would be allowed. The immediate neighbors did not support a zoning change. There was mention of the National Scenic Byway restrictions, also the traffic and speed limits, and the potential to recommend that the DOT do a traffic study including the speed limit through Valmy. So that was roughly the consensus of the Plan Commission.
Okay. Chuck, did you want to have any
I
comments?
filled out my application the next day after the meeting, and the state DOT inspector called me back late that afternoon and said he was going to, I was the fifth job he had to look at in his district, and he comes up here on Tuesdays, and I didn't hear from him today, but if I don't hear from him tomorrow, he will likely be up the following Tuesday to assess it and whatever needs to be done.
Okay. Any
I
comment?
have the copy if you want it.
Pardon me?
I have the copy of the permit I sent in if you want it.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Sure.
I
So
have
you
the
have
copy
a
of-
copy of the permit
If
that
you
you
want it.
sent into
Yeah.
the DOT,
Right,
and you expect the representative to be up here next Tuesday.
right, if you want it, I can,
Now, is that application the location where the ag driveway is right now?
yeah,
Or do you,
it's concerning that, moving it north farther,
so
and also,
a different location than the
Yeah.
current farm
yeah,
access?
taking that location, that existing drive, excuse me, driveway out.
Okay, is there anyone from the public here tonight that would like to briefly speak?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think that's about as bad of a spot you could ever put it. And if you want a lot of accidents to happen, put it there. You're gonna see a lot of accidents. You're gonna see people probably getting killed, paralyzed, the whole 9 yards. Why in the world would you wanna put two big buildings right there where it's a passing zone right out of Valmy? I can't believe it. It's unheard of. He's got 1040s. He's got a 40, a quarter mile off the road. He can put them there that they aren't gonna affect all the traffic and all the, it's just gonna be it's gonna be a zoo. I'm sorry, I absolutely will not go for that at all. It's the worst thing I've ever heard of. This is an accident ready to happen. Why do we wanna have accidents? I don't wanna see accidents. I've seen accidents ready. I lived there for 50 years. And I gotta watch every time I pull in my driveway because they're right on my tail, I gotta go straight ahead. Otherwise I get rammed in the back. So what happens? What happens? You put the buildings up there, people coming in all kinds of times of night. it would be a mess. It would be really a big mess. And dangerous, a very, very dangerous situation. And I don't care where that driveway is, if it's up close, way on the end or whatever, it's a passing zone there. People do not go to speed limit, sometimes they go a little faster. It's a bad spot, bottom line. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes?
Hi, my name is Jeff Bradley. I'm directly across the street. My wife and I live. My concern is not only the speed and the traffic, and that issue there, but also that all of the land surrounding the property is residential. It is not commercial, it's not mixed use, it is residential. And by putting a storage unit across the street from us, it changes the whole nature of the surrounding properties to the benefit of one individual and to the detriment of all of us who are residents surrounding the property.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I guess from the board's perspective, I guess I'd like to hear your senses on this. So let's start on this side. Mark?
Right, well, I don't even know where to start. I've known Chuck my whole life, but nothing against you, Chuck, but I personally think it is a poor spot. That corner is pretty scary to begin with. I don't think a storage unit is a terrible idea in this area, but it is not with the residential nature of the neighborhood.
That's it. Jean?
I watched the Plan Commission meeting on last night from the 15th, and all these statements were made. I looked carefully at the parcel. Again, nothing against you at all, Mr. Stager, but it seems that is just not a good spot to put some kind of commercial storage area. And for all the reasons that Linda just had gone through based on the Plan Commission's unanimous decision not to support the change of zoning, I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, thank you. Derek?
I'm concerned about the traffic as well coming off that no passing zone from Bellamy heading north. You're probably waiting for RJ Tillman from the state to come up and take a look at that.
Dave Nellis, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see what they say about that. That area can be made safe with north and southbound turning lanes.
I did express to him to reducing the speed to 35 into the end of my property.
Yeah. And as far as zoning, it does butt up to the mixed commercial side of Valmy. So if Valmy were to expand, it'd be in that area. Yeah, I'd be in favor of it. No matter what you put there, it's a bad spot, and that parcel can't be gone to waste.
Okay, Linda, any other comments?
Yes, on page 18 of your packet, I know the Plan Commission specifically looked at these points, and that was the considerations that Door County Land Use uses in evaluating petitions to rezone. So we looked at those 7 or 8 points there. I read off the reasons for the Plan Commission's decision, which we submit to Door County Land Use. Though also there was the question, is the proposal consistent with the town's comprehensive plan? And our answer to that was somewhat. That country living is the primary land use right now, and looking at future growth, it would be consistent if we, with our character of our communities, if we limited conflicts with existing uses. So. Oh, and by the way, the public hearing before the RPC is scheduled for Thursday, July 15th at 2 p.m., I believe.
Yes, 2 p.m.
Dan, is that road up behind, like by Cricket and all those, is that ever gonna be put in? There's that road going through,
We're-
heading north.
That's a private road at this point in time that we've kind of gone round and round with, that's owned by Donna Peterson. And the homes that have gone in there, she's granted an easement to. There's no plan from our perspective to try and lay a road down in there and incur the costs associated with that.
Okay.
And the most recent party, it's just under construction or about to, Amy? He approved-
They actually got a parcel instead on Edward Drive.
Oh, okay. But they were looking at
They
doing
were
basically the same
right next to
thing
Haynes,
as another Haynes. There's a lot of Haynes in this town, Mark.
Eugene.
Okay. You know, I'm in an awkward position too because I do know Chuck, I know his family, I consider them friends. But I try not to make it a policy of overturning our plan commission. We charter the plan commission with the responsibility of making a recommendation to the board that we attempt to adhere to. And I think in the past 15 or more years that I know, I don't think we've really overturned any of their decisions that I'm aware of. I am concerned about the location. We've just been made the National Scenic Byway. I don't think the storage units add any attraction to that community. It is a rural area. Even though there is commercial in the area, a lot of the commercial businesses over time have moved out of there, i.e. the bee bar. I go back to the old days when there was a barber shop across the street from the bee bar. That would be commercial. But the residents, I think, are right. It's not a good fit there. And maybe you can find another location that's better suited without the concerns for traffic, without conflict with the neighborhood, and since you're pretty much surrounded by a residential area or a rural community, I think it's best that it stay that way. Now, the way this process works is the town will make a recommendation based on the vote of the board to the RPC. And the RPC, of course, has already published a date for your hearing, and they have the opportunity to overturn us if they so desire. I should let you know, though, that when it comes to zoning matters, the town is empowered to turn around and go back to the county and challenge them on a zoning amendment change. It's not the case with a conditional use, but it is the case with a zoning amendment. Not saying that we would or wouldn't do that, but your next course of action falls with the RPC. And the steps that you're taking with the DOT, may be beneficial in that conversation. I can't address what we don't have information to discuss. So at any rate, with that, is there any other conversation from the board? If not, a motion to,
I think
Go
I
ahead.
made this point at the plan commission too. If the RPC were to grant the zoning change request, will we have an opportunity to add conditions or anything that we would like to see?
I
I
did
know
a
it's a
little-
very vague question, but
I did a little research on that, and I think our best course of action there would be to be represented at the RPC meeting. And if in fact they were to decide to support his request, then we would interject. To do so now, I'm not so sure would be beneficial. So,
sounds like a good plan.
The motion would be in order.
Okay, I guess I'll make the motion that the town board recommend to the Door County Resource Planning Committee that we do not support Mr. Stager's request for a zoning change from estate to mixed commercial of that 5.86 acres of his parcel.
We have a motion from Linda, seconded by,
I'll second the motion.
seconded by Jean, to deny the request to Chuck Stager to the RPC in support of his recommendation. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries, one opposed. Good luck, Chuck.
Do you want a copy of the render not?
I'd save it for the RPC. All right.
And we meant the form would just use the same criteria, you know, that form where
Oh, right.
isn't consistent, why, just use the same
Yeah.
standards that.
Okay, Cherry Hills Estate, a new road called Fairway Lane. Oh, now we know why you're here. You want to
Yes.
change the name?
Yes,
You want to make it what? Tucker's
Woeful,
Lane?
Woeful Court.
Well, in that case, I already have 2 streets named after me.
Alright, so I'm Pete Hirth with Bodwin's. Apparently there was, when the original condominium was recorded for the Cherry Hills duplexes on the west side of Cherry Hills, there was a step that was missed with the county, and that was getting the town to approve the road name for the private drive that serves those duplexes. So, between the builder and the developer, they asked if I would come here and, basically, I think it's real simple. I think we just need the town to say that the name Fairway Lane is okay, and it's okay that that's a private road named Fairway Lane. I think it's as simple as that.
And you think we're going to give you that okay?
I am hoping.
I don't know, I'm not real fond of Fairway Lane. I mean, you suggested something that was a lot more appealing.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
mean, I would let it to the board to suggest maybe making a change, but I could go either way.
I prefer Fairway way over Woeful.
I don't see any problem. The county has no issues with the name. I have no issues with the name. Does anyone on the town board have issues with the name?
No, I think there was a fair view, but the county felt that this was different enough. Fairway. I do have a question though about the development. I don't know. If
Sure.
this is the- So I looked at your covenants and conditions and restrictions, Pete, and I noticed that it's 34 units, but on the map, it only shows,
26.
I didn't see.
32.
Yeah.
There's 34.
There's 34
They're down
units.
low.
Right, it's numbered to 34, but I didn't see like 1 through 20 or something like that. So there's gonna be a total of 34 units on Fairway Lane.
No,
No.
No.
it'll be
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 duplexes, so 8 units. The rest come off of Madeline.
Okay,
And most of those are built. This is the final phase, basically. So they dropped the cul-de-sac in and then figured out they had to have a name for it and the town to act on it.
and it's all duplexes.
Right,
so, okay.
side-by-side condo
Yep, all right,
duplexes.
thank you.
Did you say those were all, are built on that?
Most of them,
Fairway Lane?
most of them shown here, I think, are.
Fairway Lane?
No,
No,
on the
No, no,
Madeline.
on top, yes, on Madeline, yeah, I agree. Maybe not the very north one?
Right, I think a couple to the north are not done, but
Mhm.
most of those on the south, I believe, are all in.
Well, unless we want to make Peter agonize over this, a motion to approve the name would be
Well-
appropriate.
I mean, just for service people getting in there, it'll be easier to find on your map. For police and firefighter, I mean, everything, it's a positive in my opinion, so.
Then I'll let you make the motion
I'll make the motion. What am I making the motion for?
to approve the
To
name.
approve the name Fairway Lane for the previously unnamed road at Cherry Hills condominiums.
Motion by Mark, second by,
I'll second, okay.
ooh,
Uh-oh.
I think you were actually ahead of him.
I'm looking over at Derek and he's not making the move.
All right, second by Jeannie. Any further discussion? All those in-
Yeah, I do have a
Yeah,
question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we make sure that a no outlet or dead end is put on that road as well?
Can we what?
Make sure a dead end sign or no
Oh.
outlet
No
is
outlet.
No outlet, I'm sorry,
Also-
okay.
included in that.
Peter can probably take care of that.
It's a private drive,
gonna say it's a
so
private
it's
road.
not
Oh,
necessarily a
that's true.
Yeah, it's
Town.
private.
sign, I guess.
Then a private road sign has to be attached to the top of Fairway.
Okay.
And you've been provided with the private driveway standards and all that, so even though it is a private road, we still have standards.
Right, yep.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion carried.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Take it in.
All right. Next item is host topic for Door County unit meeting, which is, we are the hosts on August 26th
We are.
at 6 PM. And I think Linda is asking for any idea or input. This is typically,
The host town
the host towns.
gets to choose the
Choose,
presentation or
yeah.
the program, and a luncheon. We usually have they've been boxed lunches, but now that restrictions have lifted somewhat, I guess
We could
Amy,
do-
Amy and I can figure that out,
Do
how much
something
we wanna do.
more
So it's
normal.
usually lunch at 6 PM, immediately followed by a meeting. Our last, speaker was Thad Ash as the new highway commissioner out in Nassau. So, we have one suggestion from our chairman, and that was our local DATCAP, Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection person, which is Craig Korechka. That would be an option, and he can tell us exactly what DATCAP does as our Door County representative. Another suggestion is Destination Door County will be reaching out to the municipalities as they kind of move forward with their, there's a survey out there, trying to be more engaged with the municipalities and what is Destination Door County doing. Otherwise, John Jarash will probably be visiting each of the municipalities, so. Either one, or both, or,
Anyone else have a suggestion about a topic that they might like to see discussed?
Mark, did you have something in mind? You look like you have
No, I was
something in mind,
I'm
but,
just listening to the fumbling of last names. I always enjoy it.
oh, Krechka?
Yeah, it's Craig.
Krechka?
Krejcia,
Krejcia?
Chris Krejcia.
Krejcia.
No, it's
Right,
Craig.
Krejcia.
Krejcia.
Yeah.
Craig.
And
How do you,
Jarch.
how do you
Jarch.
spell that?
K-R-A-T-C-H. It's Jarch.
K-R-A-T-C-H.
Jarch.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
You say Jarsh.
It's Jarch, that's how you pronounce her last name, it's Jarch.
Yeah,
I've
some
always seen
interesting,
Jarrett.
interesting variations, so.
If Dad kept your first choice, I can see if he's available for that evening.
I just thought maybe given all of the stuff that's going on, maybe it would be a good idea to understand what it is that they do and how they enforce. I had a relative who applied for a short-term rental permit and went and applied for the DATCAP license, and they came out to the house and told them some interesting things that they could not do in their house, which
Really?
which actually surprised me, and
I am surprised.
so it gave me, that was what
Good.
provoked my thought. So,
Good reason why short-term rentals need to be licensed through
yeah,
DATCAP.
it was pretty interesting. So I thought maybe that might be beneficial for others, because he also is responsible for restaurant
Restaurants,
inspections.
he's the all
No.
businesses, or, public serving businesses.
They kind of
Yeah,
okay.
out there,
I
so that was
think,
my
I think
thought.
that would be.
Okay, I
They're part of
will,
the Department of Agriculture.
Right,
I mean, it's all wound into one now. It's kind of crazy.
consumer protection, agriculture,
The
yes.
real estate licenses comes under that, which was really strange when
Yeah,
that happened.
his plate got really full when they were all combined.
And if he can't make it, maybe Mark would talk about transitioning from carpentry to electrical work.
okay.
And that
It's
could-
shocking how much I can talk
That's
about.
what I thought.
I don't think Craig has an assistant or anything that he could send in his place, unless there's someone else from DATCAP that he would offer up, so.
So I will sacrificial lamb.
So I will call him, that's the first choice.
It'd be nice if he could,
All right.
because
In,
he's the guy that's doing the work.
any other options, if he can't make it, and if Josh can't make it? Maybe John could just talk for a couple minutes anyway. Yeah, just say, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, we don't want the meeting to go too long. We try to keep the presentation down to like 20 minutes, followed by question and answer.
Okay.
Okay,
Let us know what happens.
yep, it's August
All right.
26th.
We're off to the financial reports for May. So you have the account balances in your packet, budget versus actual, as well as the transactions by date for the time period. And we also have the treasurer over there who's going to share with us a couple tidbits. Amy?
The town has paid its third quarter and fire dues to the city of Sturgeon Bay. We are at our budgeted expenses for the repairs and maintenance category for the town park.
Ooh.
We are at 63% of our budgeted expenses for our legal fees category. We should be receiving the first half of our American Rescue Plan Act money around the 25th of June. And looking at our room tax revenues category and comparing last year to this year, we are roughly 10,000 better than what we were last year.
Cool.
When did you say the American Rescue Plan money, Ryan?
I filed for it last week. It should be here on the 25th, and that's just the first half of the 260,000. The second half will be coming in a year from now.
And Amy got a little guidance from, was it Wisconsin Towns or the Department of Revenue? On how we can use the money,
Correct.
and they expanded it by a minuscule amount, but it may give us a little bit more latitude on how we use the funds. And by the way, I want to take this opportunity to mention that Ms. Flock, who is our treasurer, is not celebrating 5 years with us, but as our clerk treasurer, she is. This is one day
Yesterday.
after her 5-year anniversary, since we gained her as an employee, so congratulations, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're here,
You're the best.
so.
Happy to be here.
With that, a motion to approve the financial reports would be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports.
All right, motion by Derek, second by
Second.
by Mark. Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next, I think everyone's had a chance to look at the vouchers, bills, and claims. Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims for the period May 18th through June 21st, 2021, as submitted.
All right, motion by Linda, second by
I'll second that motion.
Jeannie to approve vouchers, bills, and claims, May 18th through June 21st. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Any oral committee or commission reports? We do have minutes from the Park and Rec meeting and the Plan Commission meeting to approve, but anyone else?
Yeah, could I comment on the Tourism Zone Commission? So included in the packet under correspondence is, I think it's reports from April,
Yep.
just to kind of let us know what the Tourism Zone Commission is doing and where we're standing as far as lodging receipts and room tax and permits and all that. From our meeting last Thursday, January through April of 2021, we are up 65% on lodging and receipts and sales tax. They expect June, probably occupancy is going to be close to 90%. So Door County is doing really, really well. And unfortunately, our tourism zone administrator, Kim Roberts, is leaving as of July 15th. She's actually going to the village of Ephraim. We do have the commission hired a part-time person, I want to say late last year, maybe last summer. That didn't quite work out, so we have a new person, Juliana Bain, who actually went to Sevastopol. She's working as an intern. So anyway, as a result of the meeting last Thursday, the motion was that we need 2 full-time people at the
Because of the
Tourism Zone
numbers.
Commission. Yeah. So Juliana is gonna work with Kim, for this next month till Kim leaves. And then they will, post for a full-time administrator and,
Wow,
and a second person.
that's a big loss.
Yeah, we also learned that the Senate Bill 198, that was the one to try to get Airbnb, VRBO more online so that they're actually remitting the tax in a timely fashion and when there's, and where they're supposed to be sending it to. So that did pass the Senate, and now it's going to be up for a vote in the Assembly this week, I believe. There are currently 1,315 permitted properties in all of Door County, and that's up 130 from December of 2020.
Repeat that number, please?
1,315. This
Okay.
is as of, I think, May reportings. So like I said, up 130 since December of 2020. Now, some of those are reactivated. They haven't been renting for a while, so they decided to reactivate. Yeah. And I thought this was interesting too, that of those permitted, over 70% are using a marketplace provider, so Airbnb, Travelocity, whatever. And 25% or so are using local management services.
Well, thank you for that. I was gonna have you go through that when we got the correspondence,
Oh,
but we
well,
just
now I don't have
saved
to.
by the bell.
Yeah.
So no problem. Anyone else wishing to speak regarding their committees?
Oh, one,
All right.
could I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I
Must
mentioned
be another committee.
Destination Door County. They're gonna try to engage more at the municipal level. Like I said, Mr. Jarish does plan to visit the municipalities. And there is a survey out there by Destination Door County, so I would encourage everybody to fill that out. And like I said, just a memorandum of understanding, you know, the tourism zone has to contract with a tourism entity, and that has been Destination Door County. So there was 7 or 8 questions that were posed to Destination Door County that we hope to have an answer for.
Since you brought that up, and I was saving this till later, but I think this is as good a time as any. I had Amy copy you out an article from the Green Bay Press Gazette. Some of you may have seen it. But this was an interesting read. It was hosted, a group hosted by the Door County Economic Council.
Environmental Council.
Environmental Council, with a group of individuals that had some interesting perspectives on where we were in Door County. And it kind of ties back to the survey and the comments that Linda made, because they're looking to try and make a change, I think, which is why Jack Moneypenny is leaving, because of the change in direction to manage the tourists versus just bring them in droves. So this was a pretty interesting article, and it's worthwhile taking a couple minutes to read through it. So, motion to put the minutes that we have on file.
I'll move to accept the minutes that were referenced and place on file.
All right, motion by Linda, second by? Second by Derek, out of order, but that's okay, Derek, I appreciate it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. We're down to Door County inspections underneath licenses. As you can see, he's been a busy boy. In this part of the meeting, which used to be so painful, thankfully, has not been for the last few years, which is the liquor licenses, the renewal of. Amy, you want to take us through all the good news here?
All of the establishments that have previously made application to get their liquor license, whether it be Class A or Class B are all up to date. They have all paid their dues, filled out their applications, and have been published. So everyone is ready to go.
It's almost unheard of.
It's awesome.
I think it has to do with the change in the clerk.
I call them.
Oh.
I badger them.
Whatever works.
So
All right.
Linda was a sweetheart, that's what Amy just said.
Oh,
I was too easy.
all right. With that, obviously, I don't think we have any issues. I know the fire department goes out and inspects these people, so we assume that they are good to go. A motion to approve would be the appropriate next step.
I'll make a motion to approve the license and permits.
A motion by Mark for the alcohol beverage license renewal application, seconded by
I'll second.
by Linda.
We'll mix it up.
Anyone have any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You will be able to get drinks tonight. Okay. Good to know. And we're down to correspondence, some of which we already have covered. We've got a payment from the Department of Natural Resources on managed forest law properties in our town. And the request for funds that Amy mentioned are on their merry way. Copy of an audit is available if you want it from City of Sturgeon Bay. And the Wisconsin State Laboratory of Hygiene reports that our water continues to be taste-free, which is a good thing.
Taste.
Taste-free. Earlier on, our water had a certain taste, so taste-free is a good thing. And you have a copy of the City Sturgeon Bay Fire Department report for our town, and the room tax permits as of March of 2021. Are they always this late in publishing that?
Yes.
Okay. I never
I
quite understand. 'cause
just
when you-
received the April
when you-
one.
Pardon me?
I just received
Is it
April,
April? I mean,
it's
you
the other
think-
day.
Okay, good enough. Linda took you through the insert on room tax collection. I noticed too that they were up. I thought that was everybody getting out of the house. So, and then we have a copy of the intergovernmental agreement. And this is between the town and the county, who are changing the way they bill us for taking and doing our tax collections and tax bills. And Amy, after she plummeled them, they said it's been 30 years since the last time they changed. I don't know. You might have been too tough on them, but at any rate, if this is an information item, it's too late to do anything unless you want to lick 100 envelopes. And then the last, I think, the last tidbit, no, second last, is a note from the Sturgeon Bay Utilities that effective the end of the year, they will be sending us a bill for all of the fire water that we use to put out fires that would be loaded into tank trucks that head this way. So I thought,
I have a little, something on that. So Jeannie had asked a very good question. Are we the only ones that are going to be charged for this? And the answer is no. Actually, the first one that did get charged was the town of Sturgeon Bay. And they got charged without any warning, and that was in February. And they had a little issue about it, and so they said, okay, we won't charge you until January of next year. So I did end up calling Kaylin Montevideo, and just to get a rough estimate of so far what we have used in gallons. So in February, we used 250 gallons, and in May, we used 2,000 gallons. So that's what we've used so far this year.
maybe we should tell them that if they're gonna charge us for water, we will make them come and pump out of our well, which could take 3 to 5 days to fill a tank.
Total
Anyway,
losses.
so at least it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a lot, but it's just one more opportunity to create a budget line item, let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So, all right.
Well, I just was, when I called Amy, it was just
Man, I'm out of
like,
time.
wow, you know, does the city of Sturgeon Bay pay
Well, they
for
own it.
water?
City of Sturgeon Bay owns the water utility,
Oh, okay.
but they fill the tanker trucks, and so they're
Right.
hauling out here, and they're
Right.
charging us for,
Right, But, and so our fire protection does not include water, obviously.
No.
Well,
You
I
get
mean,
the
it's a legitimate point. We
Yeah.
pay a lot of
It
money
sounds
for
really-
fire
It sounds really foolish when
protection.
you say it out loud, but it
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
Well, think about it. I mean,
Unless they-
we pay a lot of money for fire protection,
unless
and
they
now we have
refill out here.
fire protection without water. I mean, really, that's what it is.
If,
How's that work?
I think the best way to handle it, Jeannie, would be for you to send a letter on behalf of the board and, you know, make some changes, like one, we would charge them to ride on our pavement. You know, I
Well, I
would,
mean, isn't it
It
a
is
legitimate thing to say, you know, we pay the Sturgeon Bay Fire Department for fire protection for the town of Sevastopol? We kind of always assume that would include water.
well,
I mean, isn't that a legitimate,
I agree.
actually, letter to write to them and say that?
Water's a variable. Water's a variable, how much you use.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean, it's like charter. I've written a letter to charter because you subscribe to cable TV, but you can't get it unless you pay them $7 a month for the box to decipher it. I said, it's equivalent of buying a car, and after you buy the car, you have to pay again to get the key. You know, but if you'd like to, I'd be more than happy to co-sign that letter.
Sounds like it's something of futility.
Not futility, it's to the utility.
No.
All right, well, we will see if it comes back next month and she's written a letter.
So Amy, when you talk to Caitlin, we won't be charged any of these monthly service charge because we don't have any meter, correct? Because it says monthly service charge plus volume charges. We're only gonna be charged for the water that the fire department uses. We don't use any meter.
That was her interpretation of it, but again, that was the first time that she had heard about it at the town of Sturgeon Bay's annual meeting. So they were doing this without the fire department even realizing they were.
I mean, I figure that this is, how many tankers does the city have? Two? Probably east and west side, so whatever the tankers carry when they come to a fire, if they empty it, we're gonna pay for the water. But it's not like they're gonna run back to Sturgeon Bay to get another, I don't think, I don't know.
No, they should set up a fill site and draft from
From that,
one of the areas.
yeah. Well, I look forward to the letter. That's a good question.
Do
Well,
we
they-
ever, do we ever get water from the lake anymore? Is that
They claim that
totally illegal that they're gonna clog up or?
it's not illegal, but they say it impacts the pumps.
The sand.
Yeah, sand gets in there and impacts the pumps. But you still see hydrants. I mean, as you go through rural communities, you'll see a hydrant in a creek in different places, so you know they have access if they really need it, so.
The other part of the town of Sturgeon Bay wasn't sure if they were going to pass the amount on to the resident that had the fire.
That's the other
And then
thing
the
about
other portion of that is, you know, if it's a house fire, are their insurance going to cover that cost?
Yeah, but they don't bill a house homeowner for the fire protection.
No, for the water.
I know, I mean,
So-
if your house burns down, I don't think the fire department attempts to recover any costs from your insurer.
No, but could they, if we gave them the cost of what the water was,
They
could they
Submit it to
Yeah.
their
submit it and
insurance company.
get reimbursed for it? So, that's another angle that they're looking at.
Yeah.
How about, you know, somebody doing an illegal burn and, you know,
Well,
wood catch
that-
on fire, whatever, and has to be put out, what,
No, that would
you
be,
know?
that would certainly be a legitimate
Didn't they
issue.
used to bill for that? Didn't they, if they did without permit? Did they used to
They-
send them
they
a
would
bill or
fine.
a fine or whatever?
They would give someone a fine
Citation
for
or
a
something.
citation, but the idea of someone that had an illegal burn that they have to go out and put water on, that might be something worth billing them for. We'd have to ask the fire chief to let us know, and I don't think there has been one for the last couple of years. The last one I recall was off of Whitefish Bay Road, I think. That was a barn or something, right?
Yes,
That was at least 2 years ago.
Yes, because then we enacted the firefighters to go out there and inspect the,
Yep.
Yep.
it was that pushed us over.
Apparently COVID got rid of illegal burning.
Yeah.
Didn't have any last year.
Are they issuing any burn permits at all, Amy?
They didn't say.
Okay, and are they still recommending, like, don't even have a fire pit burn or a campfire?
That was in something I just read a day or two ago,
Okay,
saying they're still discouraging it.
all
I
right.
don't remember what I read it in, but I did see it, so. All right, well, Jeannie, the ball is in your court.
Great.
Then thank you for volunteering. The Door County, we had Linda already cover that, the survey and some of their uses. And, you know, I can have Josh come to the town if you think it's, you know, let me know if you wanna do that. We can have him come to our next meeting and just discuss where he's at with it.
Yeah, I believe he's gonna be reaching out
Okay.
to each town.
All right. Well, if he does that, we will be
I
here.
could send him an email saying, by the way, our next meeting is July something.
Sure.
I'll do that.
There.
All right, so announcements, we have a Park and Rec meeting on Wednesday, June 23rd at 6, is that at 6 PM or 5:30?
6 PM.
6 PM, okay. Board of Review, Monday, June 28th at 1 PM. We all have to be here for the Board of Review. Who was most recently trained?
Jeannie.
Jeannie.
You shall be the
Don't you-
chair.
Don't you do
Absolutely.
that.
You're most recently trained, you can be the chair.
I wasn't trained to be the chair.
Well, this is a good opportunity, Jeannie. Everybody gets to develop a new skill on the town board.
Do we have any objections filed?
Nothing yet.
50 or
I did get a
60.
call. Got a call today from someone that lived over by Dan. And he wants to speak to the assessor. If he doesn't get anywhere with him, he will be filing papers, so.
Okay.
I'm going to pose a question to the assessor, because for the open book, I know someone who wanted to come and look at the assessment roll, because that is the purpose of the open book, so that you can compare
Right.
your assessment to your neighbors. But since there was no in-person open book and there was no assessment roll available, now granted, the assessor did answer all of his questions, but still,
They probably.
you don't have the opportunity to page through that book and see, you know, you'd have to know your neighbor's parcel number and, you know, anyway, I'm going to pose that question on the 28th,
At least we'll have something to talk about.
right?
3 hours.
There may be other things. All right, so, again, 1 o'clock for the Board of Review. And our next board meeting is Monday, July 19th at 7 PM. So, if there's nothing else,
What about line 17, the agenda item for next Monday?
It's supposed to say month. I just got a little carried away on the Mondays. It's a lot of Mondays.
What do you guys do next Monday? Agenda items.
oh, that's a nice,
Sorry, Amy.
nice typo. All right, agenda items for next Monday. Hearing none? All right. Derek,
Hang on 1 second.
hold on,
Mr. Chapman has a question.
sorry, can't see you back there with the reflection.
Oh, my. First of all, I'd like to thank Amy. You have one of the nicest,
Aw.
kindest government employees I have ever met, local, state, county, federal. I mean, she is very, very helpful, and she comes across willing to help and wanting to help you. So I'd like to
Thank
thank Amy,
I didn't
and I'd like
see
the
him.
board to recognize that.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
So I just want you to know that I'm not totally negative. And the other thing I like, you know, we had this gentleman here with a bike rally, and he's gonna bring in 2,000 bikers. And, you know, 1,800 of them aren't gonna stay any more than 3 or 4 days. Are they? I mean, they're gonna be in and out. And because of that, short-term rental people are gonna be out of business as far as getting any of these people, unless they wanna take them for 2 or 3 days and then lose their week or whatever. So My point is, I'm against your proposal, the ordinance, proposed ordinance. I think it's unfair. I don't think there's been enough transparency and input. When you give somebody 2 minutes to talk, or 3 minutes, that's not discussion. There needs to be more discussion from both sides, I think. But I would like to, and I don't mean to be grandstanding, but I am, but I would love it if the board would reconsider this ordinance. I don't think it's fair, I don't think it's appropriate, period. But thank you for the time, have a good evening, have a good week.
All right.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Ted.
Now Derek.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion by Derek, second by Mark, to adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.